Have you ever considered that the first thing you feel when you wake up might actually be your body crying out for help? As we get older, it's easy to brush off odd morning sensations, numbness in a limb, a foggy head, a little chest discomfort as normal signs of aging. Maybe we think we just slept in a strange position or didn't drink enough water the day before. But what most people don't realize is that some of these symptoms can be early, silent warnings of serious health problems. And the moment you wake up, the clock could already be ticking. In today's video, we're covering 5 critical morning symptoms that should never be ignored, especially if you're over 60. These aren't minor issues or things you can afford to wait and see about. They're potential red flags for life-threatening conditions like stroke or heart trouble. Recognizing them could literally save your life or help you save someone else's. Let's dive in. Symptom Zone 1. Sudden weakness on one side of the body. If you wake up and one side of your body feels weak, numb, or unresponsive, do not ignore it. This is one of the most urgent signs of a stroke, and here's what most people don't know. Many strokes actually happen during sleep, so by the time you wake up, the damage may have already begun. A stroke occurs when blood flow to a part of the brain is blocked or interrupted, preventing that area from doing its job. If it's the part that controls movement, you might notice your arm feels like dead weight, or your leg won't support you when you try to get up. This kind of weakness is not from sleeping in the wrong position. It's your brain failing to communicate with your body. Take Henry, a 76-year-old retired teacher. He woke up one morning and couldn't lift his left arm. At first he thought he'd just slept on it funny. But his wife noticed something off. His smile looked uneven and his speech was a little slurred. She didn't wait. She called. It turned out Henry had suffered a mild stroke, and because they acted quickly, he recovered fully with treatment and rehab. The lesson: if you ever wake up and feel weakness or numbness on just one side of your body, even if it seems mild, don't wait it out. Call emergency services immediately. Time is everything with a stroke. Symptom 2. Slurred speech or trouble speaking. Another red flag that people often mistake for grogginess is trouble speaking clearly when you wake up. Maybe you try to say good morning and the words come out slurred or garbled, or you know what you want to say, but you can't get the words out. This isn't just sleepiness, it could be your brain telling you something is seriously wrong. Sudden difficulty with speech is another early warning sign of a stroke. The part of the brain responsible for language may have been affected overnight. You might feel confused or sound different without even realizing it. Take Marilyn, an 82-year-old grandmother. She called her daughter one morning as she did every day, but her words were slurred and she wasn't making sense. Marilyn insisted she felt fine, but her daughter wasn't convinced and took her to the hospital. Thankfully, they caught the stroke early and with quick treatment, Marilyn regained her speech. That's why it's so important to act fast. If your words don't sound right or you're having trouble getting them out, don't assume it's just early morning fuzziness. It could be a life-threatening emergency. If this information is resonating with you, let us know in the comments with number 2. And make sure you're subscribed so you won't miss the rest of this series. We're here to give you the tools to protect yourself and the people you care about. Now, let's move forward. Sign 3. Sudden vision problems. You open your eyes in the morning, expecting to see the soft light peeking through the curtains, but something doesn't look right. One side of your vision is blurry, or maybe you notice a dark patch in the corner of your eye. It's not the usual fuzziness that clears up after a few blinks. It's different. And if you find yourself squinting, tilting your head, or even bumping into things you normally wouldn't, that's your cue. Your body is trying to tell you something urgent. Sudden changes in vision, especially right after waking, can be another red flag for a stroke. The eyes may be the window to the soul, but they're also directly connected to your brain. If blood flow is cut off to the parts of the brain responsible for processing vision, you might experience blurred vision, double vision, or complete loss of sight in one eye. And because this change might not come with pain, it's easy to dismiss, especially if your vision slowly improves or fluctuates. Many older adults chalk this up to just getting older or maybe a bad night's sleep. But here's the truth. When vision is suddenly altered, especially if it's only affecting one eye or one side of your visual field, it's time to act fast. Strokes affecting the occipital lobe or the optic nerve don't always cause other dramatic symptoms like slurred speech or paralysis. Sometimes they show up quietly through the eyes. Let me tell you about a man named Carl, 76 years old, living in Michigan. One morning he woke up and saw only a gray blur in the right side of his vision. He thought maybe it was just a smudge on his glasses, but after cleaning them, nothing changed. Fortunately, his wife insisted he go to urgent care. They discovered he'd had a minor stroke affecting the visual processing area of his brain. Carl got treatment quickly and regained much of his vision within a few weeks. But had he waited, that might not have been the case. There's no shame in taking action when something doesn't feel right. Seniors often worry about making a fuss or being seen as overreacting, but you have to remember, your life experience has given you a sharp instinct. If your eyes are telling you something's off, listen to them. Don't wait until the lights go completely out. Blurred vision, double vision, or partial blindness upon waking isn't just sleep in your eyes. It could be your only warning. And if it is, you need to act fast. Call for help. Get to the hospital. Because when it comes to strokes and sudden vision loss, every second could mean years of sight preserved. Sign 4. Slurred or garbled speech. You roll out of bed, stretch, and head to the kitchen for your morning coffee. But as you open your mouth to greet your spouse, or maybe talk to your dog, something strange happens. The words stumble. You know what you want to say, but it comes out jumbled. Maybe your tongue feels thick, or perhaps your sentences just don't make sense, even to your own ears. You pause, blink, try again, but it's still wrong. That's not just a senior moment. It's a danger signal that your brain might be under attack. Slurred or nonsensical speech can be a major sign of a stroke, and it's one of the most overlooked. While many people associate strokes with drooping faces or paralyzed arms, speech disruption is just as critical, and often the first thing others notice. What's tricky is that when it happens early in the morning, you might think you're just tired or dehydrated, but if it persists even after a drink of water or a few deep breaths, it's time to act fast. Speech issues come from damage to the parts of the brain that control language and motor function. If a clot blocks blood flow to those areas, your ability to speak or comprehend language can be impaired almost instantly. And what's especially concerning is that many older adults try to play it off. They say, "Oh, I just didn't sleep well," or "Give me a second, I'll be fine." But those few seconds can turn into lost minutes. And in stroke treatment, every minute counts. Psychologically, there's a layer of fear here. For many seniors, speech is identity. It's how you share your stories, your thoughts, So, when speech falters, the fear of losing yourself, not just your words, can be overwhelming. That fear can trigger silence. You might pull away, hoping no one will notice. But silence in that moment is the last thing you need. You need support, not secrecy. Take for instance a woman named Diane, 73 years old, from Nevada. She always started her day with a call to her daughter. One morning, her daughter picked up and couldn't understand a word Diane was saying. She sounded drunk, even though she hadn't had a drink in decades. Her daughter panicked and called 911. Diane had suffered a stroke, but she was treated within the golden hour and made a full recovery. Her daughter's quick action saved her life. Slurred speech is easy to overlook, especially when there's no pain involved, but don't let the lack of pain fool you into thinking everything's fine. If your words come out strangely, or if someone notices your speech sounds off, take it seriously. Your brain could be struggling to get enough oxygen, and that's an emergency you can't afford to ignore. Don't dismiss it. Don't wait to see if it passes. Morning confusion, mumbling, or slurred words shouldn't just be blamed on aging. If it's sudden, unusual, and especially if it comes with other symptoms like weakness or blurry vision, get to the hospital immediately. In stroke cases, your voice may be the first sign something's wrong, but acting fast can help make sure it's not lost for good. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now, let's move forward. Sign 5. Sudden loss of balance or coordination. You get out of bed and suddenly feel like the floor isn't where it's supposed to be. You might wobble, stumble, or have to grab onto a dresser just to stay upright. Maybe your legs feel like they're made of jelly, or your steps don't land where you expect them to. It's easy to chalk this up to stiffness, or maybe even the effects of a bad night's sleep. But make no mistake, if you wake up and your balance is suddenly off, you could be dealing with something far more serious than just being groggy. One of the most commonly missed early warning signs of a stroke, brain bleed, or even a transient ischemic attack, often called a mini-stroke, is a sudden loss of coordination. These episodes can briefly interrupt the brain's control over movement, making it feel like you've forgotten how to walk straight. The real danger lies in how easy it is to brush this off. People often say things like, "Maybe I slept on my leg funny," or "I probably stood up too quick." But if something feels noticeably wrong, trust your instincts. It likely is. Neurologically, balance is a complex process involving your brain, inner ear, eyes, and muscles. When any part of that system is compromised, say by a small clot or a brief interruption in blood flow, your stability can disappear in seconds. And unlike muscle weakness, which you might notice in one limb, balance loss affects your whole body. You may feel disoriented, dizzy, or like the room is spinning. If it comes on suddenly without warning, that's a red flag you should never ignore. There's also an emotional layer to this. Losing balance doesn't just make you physically unstable, it shakes your confidence. You start doubting yourself. You become more cautious, more hesitant. Some people even stop walking around their own home without holding onto walls or furniture. Over time, this fear of falling can lead to social withdrawal, depression, or even a higher risk of permanent disability, because you're not moving your body the way it needs to stay strong. Let me tell you about a man named Walter, 76 years old, from Oregon. One morning, he stepped out of bed and immediately stumbled into his closet door. He wasn't dizzy and he hadn't tripped over anything, but he couldn't keep his balance. His wife insisted they go to the hospital. It turned out Walter had suffered a mini-stroke, one that didn't leave lasting damage but served as a serious warning. Because they caught it early, doctors were able to start treatment and help prevent a larger stroke that could have come next. Too often, seniors wait for symptoms to stack up before seeking help. But waiting is a gamble, and the odds get worse with time. If your balance suddenly changes, if you feel off-center, unsteady, or your legs just don't respond the way they normally do, get checked out immediately. Don't wait to fall and hope you can explain it later. By then, it could be too late. So, if one morning your body tells you something isn't right, especially in how you move, listen to it. Your body whispers before it screams. Catching those whispers early might be the difference between walking confidently and not walking at all. Sign 6. Chest tightness or pressure. When you wake up and notice something isn't quite right. A heavy feeling in your chest. Almost like there's weight pressing down on you. It's not exactly sharp pain, more like a squeezing sensation or a tight band wrapped across your chest. Maybe you sit up, try to shake it off, or assume it's just indigestion or how you slept. But here's the truth. If your chest feels strange first thing in the morning, don't ignore it. It could be your heart sending a serious warning. Morning is one of the riskiest times for heart problems, especially heart attacks. That's because, as your body wakes up, stress hormones like cortisol rise, your heart starts pumping harder, and your blood becomes slightly thicker. If there's already narrowing in your arteries, this increase in pressure can tip the scales. In fact, many heart attacks happen early in the day often between 5:00 and 10. What makes this warning sign so risky is how easy it is to overlook. It doesn't always come with intense symptoms. Sometimes it's just a feeling of chest discomfort or pressure that spreads to your shoulder, back, jaw, or arm. You might feel lightheaded, short of breath, nauseous, or more tired than usual. If these signs appear as you wake up and don't go away quickly, don't ignore them. Get medical help immediately. It's also important to be aware of how easy it is to downplay these symptoms. Many people, especially older men, don't want to overreact. They don't want to bother anyone or rush to the hospital just in case. But when it comes to your heart, hesitation can cost you everything. Getting help quickly can limit damage and massively improve your chances of recovery. Let's look at an example. Harold, a 72-year-old former mechanic from Ohio. One morning, he woke up feeling like a weight was pressing on his chest. He thought it might have been the spicy food he ate the night before. But when the feeling didn't go away and his arms started tingling, he remembered a health talk he'd heard and called. That call saved his life. Doctors confirmed he was having a heart attack, and because he acted fast, the damage was minimal. So here's the bottom line. If you feel pressure, pain, or tightness in your chest when you wake up, don't shrug it off. Don't wait. This isn't about being tough. It's about being smart. Your heart has gotten you this far. Take care of it. If this message hit home, let us know by commenting number 6 below. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss important health tips like this one. Your support helps us keep making content that matters. Final thoughts. Most mornings, we expect to wake up and carry on like always. But as we age, our bodies start sending quieter signals, especially in the early hours. A small sensation, a bit of dizziness, or a feeling that something's off, might not seem serious. But sometimes that's exactly when we need to pay attention. We're not here to scare you, we're here to help you feel prepared, informed, and confident. Ignoring these signs doesn't make you stronger. Acting on them makes you smarter, and possibly a lot safer. Let's recap a few signs you should never ignore when you wake up. One-sided weakness, chest discomfort, slurred speech, confusion or mental fog, severe dizziness, shortness of breath. These symptoms aren't normal just because you're getting old. They're red flags. Your body's way of saying something's wrong, and catching them early can mean the difference between a quick recovery and a life-changing emergency. So tomorrow morning, take a few extra seconds when you wake up. Tune into how you feel, and if something doesn't seem right, listen to your body. Trust your gut. Make the call. It's not overreacting. It's taking control of your health. You've worked hard to build a life full of people and moments that matter. Don't miss out on what's still ahead. Whether it's your grandchild's big day, a quiet walk with your partner, or simply the joy of another sunrise, you deserve to be there for it. Thank you for being here with us. If you learned something valuable, please share in the comments what stood out to you and how will you use this knowledge in your life. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, hit subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear this. Your support helps us keep spreading important messages like this one. Until next time, take care and stay well.